Hi guys, so first up we're going to look at the straight hack. This is very popular of course with plastic bottles because the tip moves at very fast speed and it goes straight through the target. You have little resistance inside the bottle and you're really just dealing with the surface. So the hack is in other words the chop is a very perpendicular chop, is very popular with this type of cutting as opposed to the draw cut, which we'll look at in a minute. So hopefully you're behind me now. So there we go. So what we're aiming to do is get maximum possible tip speed. Okay, so it should go straight through the bottle fairly easily, and you're really just cutting through that outer surface. We go again. Okay, so I drew a little bit short there, didn't go right the way through to the back. And one more hopefully. Okay, there we go, it fell off the stand. So this type of cut is of course effective against a living target. However, plastic bottle is not meat, is not an enemy, is not a person, and the draw cut really has a lot of virtues against a meaty type target that aren't very well represented when cutting against bottles. So what is the draw cut? Well, very simply, instead of extending the wrist out and throwing the tip forward, this has the advantage of accelerating the tip and moving very quickly. Instead, we keep an angle between the forearm and the blade. Okay, so essentially as we hit the target, if I just demonstrate on this stick, as we hit it, we draw across it. This has the advantage, of course, of once you impact with less speed in the blade, so you might hack or chop in less deeply. However, then you draw a portion of the blade through and across the target. And this, of course, creates a longer, more bloody wound, okay, which bleeds more. Now, that might not be a necessarily deeper wound than the chop, but it might be a bigger wound. Okay, so we have to think about this, not about just chopping through bottles or chopping through these kind of targets, but actually what the cuts were originally intended for. To try and demonstrate though, we can do drawing cuts on bottles. They're very often not as effective on this type of target, however they're more effective on meat. Okay, so what I'm doing is I'm keeping the angle here. You'll notice that a lot of early period, particularly Viking period swords, and of course Indian tulwars, have a pommel that encourages this type of grip. Okay, so sharp edge out and we're drawing through the target. You'll notice quite naturally the most impressive draw cut, the most powerful and longest draw cut is often given from the inside line to the outside line because that's the way that the body wants to move. Okay, so you'll notice the bottle moved very little there because I'm not impacting with a perpendicular strike like hitting with a stick, but I'm drawing the edge through the target. I'll try and go for another one, it might fall off this time. And again. So it fell off, but you saw just before it did that the little slice came off the top there. This type of cut doesn't reach as far and doesn't chop as deeply. However, it does draw very smoothly through the target and across the target and causes a very long wound. Cheers guys.